Good morning, classmates. This is Marishalani Cuizon. I will be discuss about the Unit 7, Strategies for Implementing Change. Objectives: Formulating and facilitating change. Facilitating change and implementing change. Formulating and facilitating. So as you can see in the picture is the iceberg. So above the sea is the visible organizational culture, and under the sea is the invisible organizational culture. Under the visible organizational culture are the vision, strategy, goals, shared values, policies, structures, and procedures. While invisible organizational culture are the beliefs, shared assumption, perception, tradition, perception, norms, values, unwritten rules, stories, and feelings. So, the difference between the visible organizational culture and the invisible organizational culture is that the visible organizational culture are those things that was already written or things that was already done in the organization, while the invisible organizational culture are those things that are unwritten or the things that we should done in the organization. Facilitating change. There are 7 ways to facilitate change within the organization. First, create a change baseline. Second, communicate change details. Third, define change strategies. Fourth, change the measurements. Fifth, communicate success. Sixth, measure change progress. And the seventh is ensure change lasts. Facilitating change. Number 1 is create a change baseline. The baseline is created by identifying the dissatisfaction, vision, first steps, and change resistance for each stakeholder involved with your change program. Create a change about what motivates people will determine the success or failure of your change program. If your assumptions are incorrect, you may miss a valuable opportunity, that of gaining stakeholders' ownership of the change process. So, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the employees, customers, suppliers, and investor. What are they dissatisfied with? So, as the head of the organization, it is important that you know the dissatisfaction of the customers, employees, and investors when implementing a change. How do they feel about the plan changes or vision? What they will feel if you conduct or implement a change? What steps will provide a good return on investment or ROI? So, what are the steps or strategy in order to get profitability of investment? And the last one is what resistance must be overcome to succeed. Number 2 is define change strategies. Select the ones that you can realistically alter and develop targeted strategies to alter them. People won't change unless they feel safe, secure, and in control over the results. You can just force people to change by management decree. So employee won't change unless they feel safe, secure, and in control over the results. It's because of their comfort zone. The strategy should fill the gaps, increasing the dissatisfaction with the status quo should improve motivation. Like for example, increasing the vision element, increasing first step will make sure that the program gets started. And lastly is decreasing resistance will simplify the whole effort. Facilitating change. The third is change the measurements. Measurements define the culture of an organization, so it makes sense they would be a good way to facilitate change. What you measure is what you manage, and the person that does the measuring is the manager. The manager is the eye for everything or the head in the organization. So the manager, in order to change the outcome, we must change what is measured and possibly who or what is doing it. If a leader keeps asking for old information, people give it to him or her the same thing. If a leader seems to counter the aims of your change program, the people being led will respond the same way. So the fourth is communicate change details. One way to facilitate change is to define what needs to change in as much detail as possible. For example, you can just say salespeople need to be friendlier to customers. You have to define friendly. You have to communicate the characteristics of friendly behavior, such as greet customers warmly, ask about their concerns, or address them by name. Once you know what the behavior looks like, translate it in detail to employees and reward them immediately for doing it. For example, is in my experience as barista before, um, every time the customer will enter in the coffee shop, we will greet them warmly, and if the customer is regular, then we will adjust their name. So it is important to make the customer special, right? Para maganahan pud sila ug magsige nagbalik-balik, especially if they heard their name by calling by someone nga dili nila kaila. Facilitating change. The fifth is communicate successful changes. Reward those change and acknowledge their contributions. In order to facilitate change, you must focus your attention on people who change and ignore those who do not. This will send a message to others that you value the changes made, and in turn, encourage others to participate in the change program. To make the employee feel special, it is important to reward them, whether it is material or not. It must be immediate and public. So number 6 is measure change progress. Make sure you have a regular method to capture where the organization stands with respect to the change program. People are not mechanical systems. Their behavior are the result of internal beliefs and assumptions. We must measure and monitor the progress being made to ensure that the change program is having an effect on those beliefs and assumptions. So, as the manager or the leader, it is important to observe the employees' behavior if they really adopt the changes in organization. Number 7. Ensure change lasts. Increasing the values in the change formula will help facilitate change and bring about behavior changes. However, it alone will not make them stick. Organizational culture is far more persistent than many people allow for. Change must be an iterative, interactive, and ongoing process. It is definitely not an event. Change is ongoing process which is to continue to learn and to grow. It is not an event that is just good for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, or 1 month. Discover new changes that are needed and develop new change strategies and keep up the change. Implementing change. Effective leaders have the ability to implement long-term change in an organization. It is a key skill that will enhance the company's ability to compete in the future and increases its performance. Knowing how to help others understand the reasons for change, leverage and advantages of change, and manage the risks associated with that change are all fundamental to success. Successfully leading others through the change process is not an easy task. Some people will always have a tendency to view change in a negative light. Change comes with the loss of a familiar way of doing things. Individuals who are comfortable relying on the past experience may feel less secure or uncomfortable knowing that they need to develop new skills to move forward. So there are 6 steps to implementing change. First step is prepare for change. Second, explain the change. Third, acknowledge the loss. Fourth, create the climate. Fifth, build the plan. And sixth is launch and sustain. Step 1. Prepare for change. First, leaders prepare for change. Knowing that the world will never remain the same, leaders collect information and analyze the strengths and vulnerabilities of the business on an ongoing basis. This helps them anticipate emerging trends in the marketplace. Thinking about the future and keeping an open mind also helps leaders stay personally resilient. They are able to find new opportunities that emerge and take on new challenges with excitement. This helps set an expectation of continuous improvement. Step 2. Explain the change. When opportunities to change exist, leaders know how to explain the change to others. So the leader or manager will set the context and talk with others about the business reasons for the change. They engage others in conversation and clarify the long-term value of making the change. Third is acknowledge the loss. Even when there is a sound business reasons for making a change, great change, leaders know that the people affected by the change will still have some concerns. They understand that fear and resistance are natural reactions to change. When you support people by recognizing the loss of familiar ways of working is an important step towards building long-term commitment. It helps minimize disruptions to the business and eliminates confusion for people during the change process. Step 4. Create the climate. During the implementation of any change, there will be early adopters or people who get excited about the change. So, there are different people, right? Nga, na uban excited sa changes, na uban nga dili. So, successful leaders identifies these key influencers who are supportive for the change, and with the leaders' help, these individuals can help set a positive tone for the new change. They build excitement and momentum and help others see the benefits of the change and let go of the past. Step 5. Build a plan. The leader sets a clear direction for the change, how it will be accomplished, and how its success will be measured. No aspect of the implementation is left to chance. So, the leader defines who, what, where, and when each step of the change will take place. So the leader will identify who or the person who will take charge of this or that, and then where and when to make a change. Step 6. Launch and sustain. Finally, once the change is implemented, a leader must make constant adjustment and ongoing improvement. This helps people overcome barriers and sustain the change as part of the organization's new culture. So it is important for the leader or manager to be or to have consistent checkup or updates for implementing a change in the organization so that the employee or people will overcome the barriers and to keep them continue to adopt the culture of the organization. So that would be all. So I have this quote: if you focus on results, you will never change. If you focus on change, you will get results. Jack Dixon. Thank you.